Hello viewers, welcome to the Knowledge Mantra. This is your speech coach Niteja. And today in this video, I'm gonna share with you a couple of the tongue twisters which are very helpful in spoken English. So before I go and start some tongue twisters, I want you to understand what exactly the tongue twisters are. Tongue twister is a phrase which is designed to be difficult to articulate properly. This is a great way to practice and improve the fluency and of course the pronunciation. So if you really want to improve your fluency and pronunciation, then this video is for you. Please handy with the notebook and pen so that you could note down and practice it after me. See, this will not help you if you just practice it once or twice. You require to practice it on daily basis, right? So are you ready to do that? Please watch the entire video if you really want to improve your fluency and pronunciation. So let's get started without wasting the time. People see the first one, it's a b sound. How do you pronounce it? B sound. In order to make a sound of b, you have to press your lips tightly and separate them by releasing air along with the voice from the throat. So I say b. Right? B, right? Press your lips tightly, and separate them by releasing air along with the voice from the throat. So, B, right? B. Now see, some of the words which have a B sound, I have observed that people make mistakes in B sound, right? B sound. So this tongue twister and of course these words which have a B sound which help you, will surely help you to pronounce this B sound clearly, okay? So it is pronounced as best. How do you pronounce it? Best. So B sound. Press your lips tightly. B, B, right? So best. How do you pronounce it? Best. Next is rub. So you can have a B sound in the beginning or maybe in the end or in the middle as well, right? So as it is cable, right? So this is best, right? Best, okay? This is black, black. So you have to basically press the lips tightly, and separate them by releasing the air, right, along with the voice. So b. So it's a black. Battle. How do you pronounce it? Battle, not wettle or something like that. It's a battle, right? Battle. Next is rub. B is in the end. So rub, right? So next is, now B sound is in between, right? So in the middle, how would you say? Cable, or maybe table, right? Table, right? So b, table. Next is bottle. How do you pronounce it? Bottle, right? So b sound. Now let's have a practice of this tongue twister. So Betty. Now first is Betty, b sound. Betty, butter, bought some butter. Betty Botter bought some butter. How do you say? Betty Botter bought some butter, right? Betty Botter bought some butter. First pronounce the words one by one, okay? So Betty, butter, bought some butter. So Betty Botter bought some butter. Betty Botter bought some butter. Now say it quickly. Betty Botter bought some butter. 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 Don't say wetty water bought some water like this, okay? So Betty Botter bought some butter. You have to just press the lips tightly, right? So Betty Botter bought some butter. Betty Botter bought some butter. Betty Botter bought some butter. So you have to start with the b sound, b, and then practice each words and then each words of the tongue twister, okay? So practice these like 6 words, okay, and then you may go ahead and practice each words of this tongue twister, and then you can just say it in one go, and then you can just say it quickly. Okay, so Betty Butter bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. How would I say it? But she said this butter's bitter. But, this is but, she said this butter's bitter. Butter's bitter. Butter's bitter. Right? But she said this butter's bitter. Bitter. Right? But she said this butter's bitter. If I bake, now again it's a bake. If I bake this bitter butter, it will make my batter bitter, right? So it will make my batter bitter. It will make my batter bitter, right? So guys, you can have a r sound or a sound. It's up to you. American gives r sound, or and Britishers give a sound in the end. So you can either pronounce it better or better, right? So Indian follow both, right? American as well as British. Okay, so I said Betty Butter bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I bake this bitter butter, it will make my batter bitter. First, understand what is the meaning of this tongue twister. Betty is a person who bought some butter. Betty Butter is a name. Betty Butter bought. It's a past tense. Bought some butter. Some butter she bought, right? But she said this butter's bitter. This butter is bitter, means not very sweet. Curd is very bitter, right? So butter is bitter. If I bake this bitter butter, if the butter is bitter, so what is the quality of that butter? Bitter. So bitter butter is actually adjective. So how's the butter? Butter is bitter. So butter is bitter. So but she said this butter is bitter. If I bake this bitter butter, it will make my batter bitter. So batter is what? This batter is actually a mixture, a liquid mixture, right? A liquid mixture is a batter and bitter, right? So Betty Butter bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I bake this bitter butter, it will make my batter bitter, right? This is how you can actually practice of this tongue twister many a times. So say it after me. Say Betty Butter bought some butter. Absolutely right. Betty Butter bought some butter. That's correct. I'll give you 5 seconds to say it after me. So, Betty Butter bought some butter. That's correct. So, Betty Butter bought some butter. That's right. So, but she said this butter's bitter. But she said this butter's bitter. That's great. But she said this butter's bitter. If I bake this bitter butter, 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 it will make my batter bitter. It will make my batter bitter. Now pronounce it, say it properly again and again. Betty Butter bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I bake this bitter butter, it will make my batter bitter. Right? Betty Butter bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I bake this bitter butter, it will make. We'll see a few more tongue twisters based on b sound. Next is big. How do you pronounce it? Big. It's a big Ben. Ben is what? It's a tall hill or maybe a mountain. Okay. So big Ben. Blue. How do you pronounce it? Blue. Okay. Blue. Big. Blue bubbles. Okay. So big Ben. Blue. Big. Blue bubbles. Say it after me. Say big Ben. Right. Blue. Big blue bubbles. So it is Big Ben blue, big blue bubbles, right? Big Ben blue, big blue bubbles. It's blue and this is blue. Blue is a color and this is blue, second form of blue, right? So Big Ben blue, big blue bubbles, right? Big Ben blue, big blue bubbles, right? Say it after me. Say Big Ben blue, big blue bubbles. Big Ben blue, big blue bubbles, right? So practice this on daily basis so that you could have a good b sound. You could be good at B sound, right? So big Ben blue, big blue bubbles. Big Ben blue, big blue bubbles, right? Big Ben blue, big blue bubbles, right? Move for next. Next is a big. It's again big B sound, black. B, big, a big, black. Bug. Bug means to annoy someone. Bug. Bit. A big black bear, right? So a big black bug bit a big black bear. A big black bug bit a big black bear, right? Okay? So big black bug, a big black bug bit a big black bear, right? How do you say it? A big black bug bit a big black bear, right? A big black bug bit a big black bear. That's right. Move for next. A big, again, it's a big sound. Blue, a big blue, saying blue, a big blue bucket. A big blue bucket of blue blackberries, right? A big blue bucket of blue blackberries, right? A big blue bucket of blue blackberries. A big black bucket of blue blackberries, right? You can just practice it many times so that you could have command over b sound. Okay, so make sure that when you try to make a sound of b sound, you have to press the lips tightly and separate them along with the voice. Separate them, releasing air along with the voice. So b, b, right? So big Ben blue, big blue bubbles. A big black bug bit a big black bear. A big blue bucket of blue blackberries. So that is how you can practice on b sound. I'll come with some more videos, a few more videos on different sound. Keep watching the knowledge mantra.